What's up, y'all? It's Ty in this video. Today, we're going to be going over ranking our top wide receivers right now in college football 25 Ultimate Team from S tier all the way up through F tier. Now, I'm going to do something that I saw a 2K YouTuber do in JC2K and mix up these cards because all of the top cards are obviously going to be relatively high, and that's not kind of the way I want it. So I'm just going to kind of mix up the cards here and again rank them from good to bad and go from there, because again, I don't want all of the low tier cards just being, you know, in here at the very top. I don't want all the 94s in the middle, and so I do want to mix things up. So as I do that, guys, please smash that subscribe button. I really do appreciate of the recent support on the channel. 92 Travis Hunter at first. Look, the first thing I want to talk about is I hope we don't get any more Travis Hunter cards this year. And maybe we'll get one whenever, like one more, but we need more variety in the game. And so the fact that we've gotten as many Travis Hunter cards as we have, and I get it, right? Like the Heisman Award and all these other things, like I get it. But, you know, enough is enough. Let's start seeing some new cards in the game. Travis Hunter at this stage, D tier. Deshaun Hamilton, I mean, honestly, for 92 is fine. F tier, I mean, for both the cards. Ian Strong, I said to mix it up, and we've got 3 92s to start it off. I don't know. Like, all of these cards just aren't great. Then we see Cam Camper. The problem with Cam Camper is he's got a low speed. I think it's a 93 speed, I believe. Might even be a little lower. I've ran Cam Camper for a while. Fits the spread chemistry I run. He's super long, breaks some tackles. I will say this. Although the speed isn't great for Cam Camper, I don't mind the card. I don't mind the card, and it's crazy because speed is the most important thing a card can have. I still don't hate the card. Dominic Lovett, F tier again. All of these cards, you know, are fine for their overalls, but they're all 92s. They're all not going to be great. Rock Taylor up next, A tier as well. Pretty similar kind of to Cam Camper. Neither one of them have, you know, as great of speed as you might want. Rock Taylor's speed I do think is higher than Cam Camper's, but both cards are A tier. Isaiah Bond doesn't have any of the new abilities, but if you're not looking for a card with the new abilities, he's fine. A tier I do think is where the card does belong. Definitely a card that you can use in Isaiah Bond and have a lot of success with. Lambert Smith, I still run this card because he, you know, fits that spread chemistry. He obviously has my Oregon team chemistry, so he's like my 5th wide receiver, sometimes plays. He's not bad. Bradley up next, A tier. I know we're seeing a lot of these A tier and F tier cards, but that's where they deserve. Randy Moss, S tier. Still to this day, one of the best cards you can play with. Why? I think he's still got that gold takeoff, right? I'm pretty sure he's got gold takeoff, which is super impactful for the card. Great speed, good route running. Randy is just an absolute beast. I think he has gold takeoff. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. Deshaun Jackson up next. I mean, D-Jack at this stage, probably C tier. Not great, but still a solid enough option. Maybe D tier at this stage is the right tier for Deshaun Jackson. Just not great for today's game. Travis Hunter, I think he's the best card at A tier. I just don't know if I think I gotta go S tier. I think you got to. I mean, he's got 95 speed, does a lot on the field. He's not, you know, the best wide receiver in the game, but I like him more than anybody at A tier for the time we're in. Evan Stewart, probably your best player at A tier. I do still think he's A tier. I do think a guy like Travis Hunter is going to be better, but I don't mind Evan Stewart. I think the card is really a solid. Mario Williams, I'm gonna go B tier. I know his speed is fine. He's just super undersized. I just don't think he's as complete as some of those other wide receivers at A tier. You guys can let me know if you disagree, but I'm throwing Mario Williams right now in that B tier. 94 Deshaun Hamilton, another card I don't mind, but I do think he is deserving of B tier. Only 93 speed on the card. Other than that, he's fine. You know, he's not super expensive either, but you get what you pay for at a Deshaun Hamilton. B tier is the right spot for the card. Jalen Noel up next. S tier, the best wide receiver right now in college football 25 Ultimate Team. And honestly, I don't even think it's close, especially if you give him whatever, you know, chemistry you are running, gonna make him that slightly better. Trust me when I tell you, Jalen Noel is nearly impossible to defend in this game. DK Metcalf, honestly, guys, I've got the card. I just don't know if I love him. Like, even him compared to Cam Camper. Yes, I get it, Cam Camper probably is better. Our DK Metcalf should be better, but I don't know. I feel like when I've ran Cam Camper, his movement might be better. I don't know. DK to me, just kind of movement-wise is weird. Yes, he's tall. I don't know. I've got the card and I just don't know if I love him. Diggs up next. I love Diggs. And maybe it's because of what I remember Diggs being, but I think Diggs brought me as much success as nearly anybody else at that A tier. Now, yes, Diggs isn't going to be able to get all of those new abilities. Take that for what it's worth, but I still think Diggs is a beast. Great House isn't bad. I actually think he's better than all of these other cards at F tier. Maybe not. But I think if you are going to buy or get a 92 overall wide receiver, Great House is who I'd recommend. Branch up next for today's era. I think C tier, like he was good for his time. Obviously, that time has came and that time has went. If you have Branch, I'd honestly quick sell him for coins. Rivers up next, C tier. Solid 93 speed, does what you need on the field. Does deserve that C tier. 93 overall, Wes Welker, C tier. He's fine. He's just undersized. Movement-wise, good. Again, 93 speed is okay, I think is what that card has. He's okay. Anthony up next. I honestly don't know on the card. To me, I'm going to go F tier. But again, I don't necessarily know if that's accurate. Jackson Meeks, I actually think he's one of your better 93 overall wide receivers. And his price is relatively cheap as well. So I like Jackson Meeks a ton. Again, a lot of these cards you'll get what you pay for. But for Jackson Meeks, I think he gives you a lot on the field. Samaj Morgan up next. I mean, C tier maybe. It's tough because it's like, I think, I don't want all the 93s just to be at C tier, right? But a lot of what, and this is something that has bugged me all year long, a lot of the way that EA has done things this year is there's not very much variety in the game. And when I say that, like a lot of the 93 overall wide receivers just simply come with that 93 speed. So like whatever their overalls are is what speed they do have. So like when you look at Samaj Morgan, he's got 93 speed, 93 acceleration, 92 catching. Like he's just like a basic 93 overall. And that's what you see for a lot of these different cards. And so a lot of you guys are probably like, Ty, you're all ranked at the same tier, but good luck, separating them. Travis Hunter, one of your better cards at C tier. Look, I got the card for free as well. You can run him as long as you want, but just know when you replace him is when your squad is just going to start getting slightly better. Like, again, you can run him, he's fine. But when you're replacing, the squad's going to get better. Lemon up next, B tier. Does come with that 94 speed. Obviously a 94 overall. It's kind of what we see a lot of. He's fine. I don't think he's good enough to be at A tier, but he is fine. Jalen Waddle, the only question here is he A tier or is he S tier? I'm going to go S tier. I think when I play against Waddle, he gets open about as much as anybody else. Now, again, that's just my approach to things when playing against Waddle. I think the card's been so good. So I'm going S tier. A lot of it's just my eye test. I've never used Jalen Waddle. I've only played against him, but S tier is where I believe he's at. AJ Brown, I think I'm going to go low S. I actually got AJ Brown. I don't know if I love the card. Even for me, it's just like a lot of it is eye test. For me, AJ Brown was fine. But I don't think he was, anything crazy. Jeremiah Smith is S tier, no questions asked. Great speed. I will say this for Jeremiah Smith, doesn't get any of the new season abilities, so I think he's only got, bronze takeoff, or he might have silver takeoff. But again, a lot of people get those, new season 4 abilities. Jeremiah Smith won't, but the card is still really solid on the game. Probably, right in here, ranking behind Waddle maybe. Blood up next. The problem for Blood is this. I know he was a free card, but he's only a 93 overall. And so for a free card, he's fine, honestly. 93 speed, 93 acceleration, solid catching the football. C tier, though. Carnell Tate up next. I actually think Carnell Tate's really good. I'm going to go A tier. I think, he does drop open passes, but outside of that, I think Carnell Tate is one of your most complete receivers at that A tier. Tez Johnson, I actually like quite a bit at that 93 overall. Is he good enough though to be at B tier? That's the question I ask. And I would come back with this for Tez Johnson. If Travis Hunter is C tier, so is Tez Johnson. I think Deshaun Hamilton's gonna be my only 93 speed guy at that B tier. But again, I think it's just because he gives you that slightly more. Calvin Johnson, I gotta throw him at B tier. I don't know if this is right, but here's the thing with Calvin Johnson. He is massive on the field. He's 6'5", so you can sometimes just throw it up to him. He might go and get it. 93 speed acceleration. Route running is good. I think I've got to throw him at B tier. I don't love him, but I think that's where he belongs. Gilroy up next. I think A tier probably. again, a lot of these are tough. Like for a 94 overall, he comes with 94 speed, 93 acceleration. I think A tier is where I've got to go with him. But it's just tough because, I mean, again, if a card has 95 speed, they're probably going to go at S tier for me. Badger up next, you're only going B tier. He's got 91 speed. And honestly, if you want, I might throw Badger at C tier. I'm going to. He's got 91 speed. I'm sorry. If you're that low in speed, you're not going to be high on my list. Trevor Pena, S tier. I've got the card. I like the card. Spread chem gets open. I like me some Trevor Pena. Not super expensive either. Xavier Worthy, S tier. Again, not a whole lot to talk about. The only other thing I could do here is make my S tier just the elite of the elite. But again, I don't even think there's enough cards to really, divide that up. So I am going to throw him there. Le'Veon Campbell, S tier. And again, this is what I don't like is I've got so many players at S and A tier. However, this is how many good wide receivers we have right now in the game. Wes Welker, not great, D tier. Rondale Moore at this stage, D tier, was great for his time. Marvin Harrison Jr. was great for his time, D tier at this stage. Squirrel White, D tier. I don't hate the card. McBride, decent acceleration, decent speed. Again, I might just throw D tier and F tier together. I think that's what I'm going to do because I don't like dividing these cards different. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to throw D tier and F tier together just because, again, all these 92s are relatively similar, and sure, you might want to be higher on Marvin Harrison Jr. and Rondale Moore than some of the other cards and, stuff like that. But again, it's hard to really separate them. TJ Moore up next. He is S tier. He is absolutely not worth his price, though. I had TJ Moore. I used TJ Moore. He's fine. He is just ultimately not worth his price. Messer, D tier. Walker up next. I don't think he's bad. One of your most complete D tier wide receivers, but he is D tier. Laquan Treadwell, 94 overall. Here's the problem that I see with Treadwell. And I'll talk a little bit about this, but when I'm looking at Treadwell here, here's what you're looking at. Physical wide receiver, comes with 93 speed, 94 acceleration. Everything else is perfect. So he's pretty similar, though, to Deshaun Hamilton, where both cards do come with that, speed rating being a little bit lower, but everything else about the cards are nearly perfect. So they are going to settle in that B tier. Wes Welker, weird card. Weird card. He does have 95 speed. However, I don't know if he does enough elsewhere to be at that A tier. I think I'm going to stick him at A tier just because, route running's good. He's good in the open field. I'm just not sold on him. I'm just not sold on him. It's just weird, like him compared to like Bradley, for example. Bradley's only got 93 speed. He's just a different wide receiver, though. So I am going to go S tier with Wes Welker. Devontae Adams, at this stage, I'm going to go B tier. I like Devontae Adams for his time. I just personally like Stephon Diggs more. I might move Isaiah Bond down a tier, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. I mean, Bond's fine. Just when you're talking about the new abilities, he just ultimately does not get all of them. Kelly up next. I mean, Kelly's not bad. I'm going to throw him at B tier. He's not bad. Not bad at all. Andrew Armstrong, look, if you use your token on him, he gets better and better. I can't without the token. Go C tier, though. With the token, again, gets way, way, way better. Campbell's up next, D tier. And the 92 overall Treadwell is D tier as well. That's going to wrap it up for my tier list today. It's really tough, guys. It's really tough because of the way, college football Ultimate Team has been doing things this year. People are basically representative of their own overalls. Like, that's the way they do things, especially at the wide receiver position. There's really not that much differential between cards. Like, Badger is one of the only things. I think his name's Elijah Badger. He's one of the only guys that has super low speed, so he's kind of tough to rank. And the only other difference is the abilities that, the cards get. But again, you can't run takeoff on all your cards unless you use all your APs on them. And so, if you have one or two guys with takeoff, fill your roster in from there. Maybe Diggs can be plugged in, something like that, without any abilities. But that's going to wrap it up for our video. Let me know your thoughts on this tier list down below in the comments, guys. Drop a like on it, subscribe if you are new, and as always, man, I love you guys. Have a blessed day.